Welcome to the Instagram of Soul Purpose 360, a Black women's empowerment organisation. We have the founder and CEO, Palmer Black, here. These will be monthly Q&A sessions with the founder. So would you like to take it away, Palmer?
So hi, and thank you all for being here for these soon-to-be live sessions. I am the founder and CEO of Soul Purpose 360, founded in 2019 and really launched in 2020. So we're 5.5 years old and we are growing and evolving. Essentially, we are a Black women's empowerment organisation, but there's so much more to Soul Purpose 360. And that's what we hope to unpack in these live sessions going forward. I will share, you will have an opportunity to ask me questions, and together we can really unpack what Soul Purpose 360 is and where it's going as well.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you started the organisation, and anything else you want us to know in this introduction today.
People always ask me why I started Soul Purpose 360. There are so many reasons why I did it. I've worked in and with communities for over 30 years. I've worked through community groups, voluntary sector organisations, housing associations for a very, very long time. And part of my role was always about getting people in the community involved in their community, because nobody knows more about the community than the people that live there. And getting people involved was always a real challenge. People would always begin to tell me, what should happen in their communities, what the issues were. They had all the solutions. But the minute you suggested that they get involved, they started to backtrack and tell you all the reasons why they couldn't. And this kind of led me to want to know more about the human condition, the mind, and why some people can be so unforgiving of themselves in terms of not wanting to see that they can play a positive role, not only in their communities, but actually in their lives as well. So that was a kind of first thinking point about, well, how can I get people more involved in their community? How could I get people to see that there's more to them, that they could actually make a positive contribution? And so I think through the work I was doing, I was kind of doing that on a day-to-day.
That's really lovely.
So in 2012, my older sister, Pauline, became really ill. She actually developed cancer. And in the years it took for Pauline to, pass away, she and I had lots and lots of conversations about life and the meaning of life. And what I learned through those conversations was the importance of confidence in our lives, and the realization that when your confidence is knocked or even not built as a child, you grow to be an adult that doesn't have much confidence, and not having much confidence leads to a lack of resilience, for example. And really thinking about the mindset and how important it is that we do grow in resilience so that we can take charge of our own lives. So Pauline passed away in 2018. And her passing really did affect me. I didn't imagine that it would affect me the way it did, because she'd been ill for so long. And I kind of ground to a halt, and I realised that actually it doesn't really matter how resilient you are. When somebody that close to you passes away, that the impact it has on your heart, your mind, your everything can really just make you stop and pause in your own life. And I began to ask questions of other women, other successful Black women. I wanted to know about their personal journeys, and they began to share with me. And so really Soul Purpose 360 came about because what I recognised through those conversations was the particular impact that these things have on Black women. That Black women are we would talk about double discrimination, we talk about intersectionality and all of those kind of things, But black women in the West have a particular place where we are not valued. And as Malcolm X talked about black women being the most oppressed group in society back then, and it's still the same today. So Soul Purpose 360 is really aimed at black women. It's about providing a space for black women where they can come together and find connection and empowerment, and so much more in that space.
So, Palma, I know you've got a membership for Soul Purpose. Would you care to explain a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, so we call it the Black Women's Networking and Empowerment Circle, and it's a free membership. Anyone can join as long as you're a black woman. And it's very flexible as well. So we have a WhatsApp community, and some people choose not to be a part of a WhatsApp group at all. But so we have a Facebook group, which is a closed group. We have members that will interact with us on LinkedIn, and just those that will just turn up at workshops and say, I'm a member. We feel that that's really important for black women to be able to determine what membership means for them, so that they're not obligated to feel that they are part of something that they may feel uncomfortable with. And let's be honest here, black women coming together can be uncomfortable for some black women. And that's really kind of built into how Soul Purpose flexes with our members. Our members are so important to what we do. We are a member-led organisation, so we are constantly in dialogue with our members, asking them, what do they want? How do they want it delivered? And we do, as far as possible, try to meet the needs of our members. So when people ask me what is Soul Purpose 360, to our individual members, it may mean something completely different. But the membership is free. It's accessible via our website. We do ask a number of questions because we do want to know what you want from our membership and how you can contribute to the membership as well. So the membership is free and it's flexible.
So, Palma, we've got some questions here. There are a few questions about membership that I wanted to ask today. 2 categories, so I'll split them into 2. The why not, so why wouldn't you join? And the why yes, why would you join? If we could just start with the first question I've got here. Okay, my first question is, why do you think some women have reservations about joining a Black Women's Empowerment organisation?
I get this question asked of me all the time. When I tell people about Soul Purpose 360, I see their eyes light up, they're really excited. And when I tell them that there's a membership, you can almost see the physical reaction in them, and they begin to start thinking in their minds, how can I not join the membership? So many of us will be able to tell personal stories, testimonies about interactions with other black women that haven't been so good, particularly in the workplace. A good few years ago, we held a focus group with Soul Purpose 360 members, and this was one of the questions that was asked. And so many of those present in the workshop were able to talk about times when they had been at work, or they'd been in friendship circles, social networks, for example, where they have felt judged, they have had really negative experiences with other black women. And these experiences have put them off for joining other black women's organisations. I too have had my own experiences in the workplace. The women talked about in the workplace about being set up by other black women where they thought they could have had allies. These women turned out to be people who were competing with them. But why is that? So in the workplace, we know that there's only so many black women, black people that can reach the pinnacle within that organisation. And so oftentimes what happens is black women are pitted against one another. And it can be really heartbreaking. It can be very, very disheartening to feel that experience. So many of our members will join after being encouraged and cajoled, after being brought along to events by their friends, by their sisters, and so on. And when they come into that space, they realise that actually what we offer is a space that is free of judgment. It is a really compassionate space. It's a space where you can just be your true, authentic self. And for so many women, they will call me up in tears, telling me that for the first time in their life, they have Black women friends. They are in a space where they feel really comfortable. Just that alone can be such a powerful testimony from some women who are really just existing on their own, out in society, just trying to get through day by day.
So the next question I have for you is, do you think the joining process feels intimidating, complicated or unclear to some people?
I think that it can. So the joining process is you go onto our website, soulpurpose360.co.uk/member, and fill in the form online. So I know that so many women aren't tech savvy. They may find the questions, why do they want to know, who I heard from? Why do they want my address? Why do they want to know what I do for a living? Simple reason being is that we are a national organisation with a growing network of local hubs. So we have small hubs in and around the country where women come together, our members come together as volunteers, and they will organise empowerment workshops. So we want to know where you are so we can plug you into your local network. We want to know what it is that you do so that we can make sure that we as an organisation are remaining relevant to our members as well. And there are so many opportunities that exist within the organisation that, if you have a skill, if you have an interest, there's something that's in there that's specific to you as well. So I think, yes, joining may feel a bit intimidated, but honestly, when you step out of your comfort zone and step into the Soul Purpose 360 membership, that's where the magic happens.
The next question I'm going to ask, are there any misconceptions about the organisation that might put some women off?
You don't need to be skilled at anything to join Soul Purpose 360. I always describe our membership as being on a spectrum. So at one end of that spectrum, we have women who show up, they have illnesses, they suffer from depression, they are experiencing poverty, they're in a really, really bad place in their life. And they lacking confidence, lacking resilience. At the other end of the spectrum, we have women who are business women, entrepreneurs. We have doctors and lawyers. We have housing professionals in here. We have counsellors and therapists. We have all sorts. So every kind of discipline that we have. What is magic about the membership is that no one judges anyone else, and we provide a space where women can share either in person at our empowerment workshops or in the WhatsApp community, and get the help and support that they need. And everyone from time to time in their life needs help and support. We have women who have joined the organisation who have said to me, I've got nothing to offer. And, a year down the road, they are running their own social enterprise or community project. Their life has changed considerably simply from being involved in this space. So, yeah, I think that there may be some reservations that individuals might feel that, it's not for me. But honestly, it's for every single Black woman.
The next question I'm going to ask you is, if you put yourself in the shoes of a potential member, what might make you hesitate in joining Soul Purpose 360?
Some of the things that I've heard, or when I tell people there's a membership and we're having an event or there's an empowerment workshop happening, the first thing they may tell me is that they don't have the time to go to a workshop. But the workshops are only 2 hours long and they are planned a month in advance. They may appear that they're not feeling that confident to go into a space with other strange black women. Or they may tell me that they're already involved in other groups, the church group, for example, or another community group that they're involved in, and that you know, they don't need to be in any more groups. And I think what I've found is that when women eventually do come along to Soul Purpose 360, one of the first things they said to me is, I feel like I've been missing out all this time. But one of the most pressing things that I hear from women, and as a coach, I interpret it that what they're telling me is that they just don't feel that they're enough to go into those spaces. And what we try to do in Soul Purpose 360 is to empower women. So the minute they walk through that door, they are empowered. And what does that look like? Well, it means that we welcome them into that space, so we don't make them feel that it's an uncomfortable space for them to be in. And I don't mean in a really kind of, you know, lovey huggy kind of way. It's about making sure that they feel seen and heard in that space, and making sure that they feel comfortable in that space. And comfort is different to everybody. So yeah, that's what we try and do.
Just moving on to the next question now. Why do you believe it's important for black women to have a safe space?
That is a big question. I think our members are black and global majority women who in the main have a shared experience, but they have their own individual journey. And so many of our members may be survivors of personal and social trauma. They may be grappling with the consequences of that trauma, you know, domestic violence, grieving, divorce, all sorts of things. And these are women who are often struggling to find their purpose in life. What we try to do is recognise that having somewhere where you can be your authentic self, where you can be your genuine authentic self, allows women to begin that process of healing, that process of recognising that, you know, there is more to life. We provide them with the necessary tools, the connections, and a space where they can begin that personal journey for themselves at their own pace as well.
I have another really good question for you. This is the end of the why nots. Would you call Soul Purpose 360 a safe space for black women?
Soul Purpose 360 is a community accelerator that puts black women at the centre. What do I mean by that? We are driven by the need to empower black women together. We're a sisterhood and we encourage sharing, learning and growth. We help black women to be their whole selves. That's so important. And we offer inspiration for them to go out into the world and build themselves up as individuals and contribute to society as well. And we do this with an urgency, but at the speed that fits each individual woman. And it's a place where black women can come to and turn their lives around, irrespective of where they are and irrespective of what age they're at as well.
So, Palma, thank you for that. That was lovely. Thanks for answering those questions. Just moving on to the why yes now. So, the first question is, imagine yourself, you were a Soul Purpose 360 member. What do you think they would say that makes the organisation worth joining?
The connections that you can make, the friendships that you can make, the activities that we hold locally, the events that we put on nationally, the fact that the organisation is just filled with such amazing women. I personally have found so many great friends in Soul Purpose 360. And there's never a dull moment. There's always something going on. Someone's holding an event, someone's sharing something. There's just so much. It's a whole world of just buzzing with stuff going on.
Right, I only have two more questions. The next one is, Which benefits do women tend to get most excited about once they understand the structure of the organisation?
Gosh, I think it varies from individual to individual. Some will tell you that they get a great deal from attending monthly empowerment workshops. They are getting out, they're connecting with individuals, they now have a social life, and for them that's really, really important. Others will say that it's benefited them to help get their business or organisation off the ground through the connections that they have in the space. Some will just say that, you know, they feel really grateful to be connected with other Black women in the space where they can have a shared background, they can have conversations, that kind of thing.
Perfect. I have one more question, and it is, can you think of any success stories or transformation examples that could inspire someone to join?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
Without saying any names, because you know how important it is to be anonymous.
Okay. Now I'm trying to sift through my mind to think of one where I'm not going to give anyone away, really. Okay, well, maybe I can talk about very general, really. So there have been women that have come to Soul Purpose 360 who have had conversations with me about where they are in their life. They're suffering from depression, they've got illnesses, they don't have the support of family and friends, and they're really just existing by themselves, going through their life on a day-to-day. And they've come to Soul Purpose 360 because either somebody has told them, somebody in their family has told them, they've searched online for key buzzword for Soul Purpose 360 and they found it, or they've been referred by their GP or a social prescriber. But however they've done that, they've come to Soul Purpose 360, and we're engaging in a conversation, either in a group or, you know, via telephone. And we begin to build up a relationship, and I begin to understand what their issues are and what it is that they need. And these individuals have gone on to set up businesses, they've gone on to set up social enterprises, they've gone on to secure employment. And for them, that is really life-changing. And for us as an organisation, for me as a founder, it really kind of underlines that Soul Purpose 360 is doing some good in the world. I'm able to fulfil my soul purpose by helping others to show up in the way that they want to show up in this world.
Wow. Just sounds like Soul Purpose is really doing its thing and changing people's outlooks. So well done. Thank you for joining us for this video, Palma.
Thank you for having me.